Hi, and welcome back to Temple Baptist Church Online Devotion. I'm glad that you're with me today. I'm back over in Exodus chapter 15. Today we're going to be looking at Jehovah Rapha. Jehovah Rapha. That name of God means the Lord who heals. The Lord who heals. We know in the New Testament, we read through Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, many times we see Jesus healing all types of diseases, not only being able to heal the deaf and the mute, the blind, the lame. Jesus was as well able to heal those that were stricken by various diseases, regardless of what they were. Many times he healed those that were leprous. And then as well, Jesus was able to raise people from the dead, healing them of whatever had caused them to die. And as well, Jesus was able to cast out demons, and he was able to heal them from the presence of the demon in their life. Jesus, to those in his day, was Jehovah Rapha. And to those in Moses' day, Jesus as well was Jehovah Rapha. He was the one who is able to heal all sorts of things, and he would be the one that would be able to heal his people. You remember the story that Moses had gone before Pharaoh with the power of God, and Aaron had been with him. Ultimately, God brought the death of the sons of the Egyptians, and because of that, Pharaoh pushed out the Israelites from Egypt. They fled from the presence of Pharaoh and his army. They got to the Red Sea, and it was there at the Red Sea that God split the waters, and he had allowed them to walk through on dry ground. And then, as they were standing on the opposite side, with the Israelites bearing down upon them, the army coming, chasing them, coming toward them, God caused the walls of water to collapse, drowning the Egyptian army. Moses and the children of Israel, they were ecstatic. They knew that God had rescued them. They worshiped God. And here in chapter 15, Moses prepares a song where he says, "I will sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and its rider he has thrown into the sea. The Lord is my strength and song. He has become my salvation. He is my God, and I will praise him. My father's God, and I will extol him." Moses was praising God, worshiping him, as were the rest of the people. But 3 days later, they were depressed, because they had walked for 3 days and yet they'd not found water. They'd not found clean water. They had found bitter water, but that water really wasn't water that they were able to drink. And they knew that they would need water. And so they, in some way, they complained. But God was able to change the water for them, to give them what they needed, and then to help them to understand that they needed to follow him. Look with me, if you will, beginning in verse 23 of chapter 15. It says, "Now when they came to Marah, they could not drink the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore the name of it was called Marah. And the people complained against Moses, saying, 'What shall we drink?' And so Moses cried out to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree. And when he cast it into the waters were made sweet. There he made a statue and an ordinance for them, and there he tested them. And God said to them, 'If you diligently heed the voice of the Lord your God, and do what is right in his sight, give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of the diseases on you which I have brought on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals you. God called himself Jehovah Rapha. I am the Lord who hears, but heals you. So he was saying to the people, I want you to listen to the voice of the Lord. I want you to do what is right before the Lord. I want you to hear the commands with the aim of obeying those commands. And then I want you to keep the commands and the statutes. Otherwise, the same judgment that fell upon Egypt would fall upon you. Jehovah Rapha, he is the one who heals. He is the one who can heal today. There is nothing impossible for God. Mary found it hard to believe that she was pregnant with the baby Jesus, but the angel said, there is nothing impossible for God. It wasn't impossible for God to split the waters of the Red Sea. It wasn't impossible for God to change the bitter water into sweet. It wasn't impossible for God to rescue the children of Israel out of Egypt. And it wasn't impossible for God to raise up the dead body of Jesus in a resurrected form and allow him to be seen, not only by a few disciples, but more than 500 people at one time. Nothing is impossible for God. He is the God who heals, and he is Jehovah Rapha. Trust him today, and he will prove himself. You know, at Temple Baptist Church, we meet on Sundays at 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. on Sundays, and we would love for you to come and join us if you don't have a church home. God bless you, and join me again next time as we continue our study in the names of God.